Hello, we're reaching you live from our news studios in Lagos, Nigeria. Coming up, United States urges President Muhammadu Buhari to rescind Twitter ban in Nigeria. Serap and 176 Nigerians drag federal government to the ECOWAS court over unlawful suspension of Twitter. BAUCHI State Governor BALA Mohammed dissolves State Executive Council with immediate effect. France suspends aid and military cooperation in Central African Republic. Hello again, and thanks very much for joining us. News now, and here are big stories we are tracking at this hour. I'm Michael Nath. The House of Representatives has resolved to investigate the decision of the federal government to ban operation of Twitter, a social media platform in the country. Speaker of the House, Honorable VIOLENCE-GBAJABIAMILA, made this known on Tuesday on resumption of plenary after 2 weeks recess.
It is in service of our obligations under the Constitution of the Federal Republic of Nigeria and our moral duty to the Nigerian people that the leadership of the House has mandated from today the House Committees on Communication, Justice, Information and Culture and National Security and Intelligence to immediately commence an investigation to determine 1. The circumstances of the decision by the federal government of Nigeria to ban the operations of Twitter in Nigeria, and 2. The legal authority for the ban on the operations of Twitter in Nigeria. The committees are additionally mandated to invite the Minister of Information and Culture, Alhaji Lai Mohammed, to brief the House of Representatives on the objectives, intent, and duration of the suspension of Twitter in Nigeria, and to report to the House within 10 days.
As a representative of the people, I have a source of communication with my constituents. I have a source of interaction with Nigerians. But in moving this, I must, with every sense of responsibility, Mr. Speaker, commend the step you took this morning concerning this issue of ban on Twitter. Very proactive, very timely, very opposite. But, Mr. Speaker, my concern is that as a Nigerian, and for several other Nigerians out there, the implication is that for 10 days that we have given our committee to work, that this breach will continue. And we don't even know how long thereafter that our interaction with the executive arm will last. Mr. Speaker, whilst I agree with the submission, with the position of the leadership of this House in total, I will only want to add that for breach of fundamental human rights, particularly right to fair hearing, right to freedom of speech and expression, that we should urge the executive arm in the interim, I use the word urge, the executive arm, in the interim, to reverse this order, pending the outcome of our interaction with the executive arm.
Thank you, Honorable Chinda.
Yes, sir.
Let me very quickly, so that we can move along, refer you to Order 9, Rule 1, Sub-Rule 6 of our rules. I shall also assist you in reading it out for clarity.
Yes, sir. Mr. Speaker, let me read.
It shall be out of order to attempt to reconsider any specific question upon which the House has come to a conclusion during the current session, except upon the substantive motion of rescission. The matter has been sent to the relevant committees to investigate and look into the issues that you are talking about, and they will report to us within 10 days. That is what even if we have brought a motion here, we would have referred it to the same committee, and your motion may even have been killed. We don't know. So this way, we have even saved the day. The institution will look into it. In 10 days, we'll know what action to take. And you have not complied with the Order 9, Rule 6. You're ruled out of order.
Mr. Speaker,
please, Chinda, please be guided.
Mr.
Please.
Speaker, if I will be heard.
Please
the
be
next
guided.
order of the day.
Chief Whip.
Mr. Speaker, if I will only be heard.
The next order of the second business of the day is presentation of three reports of the committee on...
Already the speaker has already ruled on it. Please resume your seat. You know the rules better. You know how to come back. You know the rules better. If you are so passionate about it, you know how to come back.
Well, Mr. Speaker, in the circumstance, for PDP members, we have agreed we continue.
The next order of the day
Please, Chinda, please, you are a ranking member
is the
of
first
this House.
reading.
We continue to tweet.
Please,
We are
please.
with Nigerians. And if the Attorney General wants to...
The United States of America has again urged the President Muhammadu Buhari to rethink and rescind the Twitter ban in Nigeria. This message was conveyed by a top American official and senior diplomat who is the current administrator of the U.S. Agency for International Development, Samantha Power. Power, in a tweet on her verified handle on Wednesday, wrote, quote, "There are nearly 40 million Twitter users in #Nigeria, and the country is home to Africa's largest tech hub. This suspension is nothing more than a state-sanctioned denial of free speech and should be reversed immediately. #Keep it on." The federal government, through the office of the Minister of Information and Culture, Lai Mohammed, had banned Twitter. The Socio-Economic Rights and Accountability Project, SERAP, and 176 concerned Nigerians have also dragged the federal government to the ECOWAS court over the unlawful suspension of Twitter in Nigeria. In a suit filed on Tuesday before the ECOWAS Community Court of Justice in Abuja, SERAP and the concerned Nigerians are seeking an order of interim injunction restraining the federal government from implementing its suspension of Twitter in Nigeria and subjecting anyone, including media houses, broadcast stations using Twitter in Nigeria, to harassment, intimidation, arrest, and criminal prosecution pending the hearing and determination of the substantive suit. The suit, filed by solicitor to SERAP, Femi Falana San, the plaintiffs contend that if this application is not urgently granted, the federal government will continue to arbitrarily suspend Twitter and threaten to impose criminal and other sanctions on Nigerians, telecommunication companies, media houses, broadcast stations, and other people using Twitter in Nigeria. The perpetual order sought in the suit might be rendered nugatory. In an effort to improve the welfare and boost the morale of the personnel of Civil Defense Corps across the country, the NSCDC has promoted 260 officers. Speaking at the decoration of the officers in KADUNA State, the Commandant Naruddin Abdullahi, who represents the Commandant General of NSCDC, said it's a new dawn to promote another set of personnel who have been stagnant for long without promotion.
It is with great delight I represent the Commandant General Ahmed Abubakar Audi, SDMNI, to congratulate 260 personnel who have just been promoted in the 2020 promotion exercise today. In view of the Commandant General's commitment to the welfare of personnel, officers who are worthy to be promoted are some of those who have been stagnant for too long.
Today, as you can all see, was always a joyous occasion for us. Our decoration ceremonies to the next rank.
I am glad because I've been waiting for this promotion in the last 7 years. It has come today. I know that this is the time God has destined it to come. And for me, I see it as a challenge to put in my best in the service of my fatherland.
Thank God for everything. Thank God for a day like this. Maybe some people will sat for these exams together, they couldn't get. And maybe I sat for these exams for more than twice. This is the time God destined that is my time.
The Nigerian Senate held a minute's silence to mourn the demise of Prophet Temitope Balogun Joshua, the founder of the Synagogue Church of All Nations, coming under Order 43 of the Senate's rules, as the deputy leader, Senator Ajayi Borofais, during plenary, drew the attention of lawmakers to the demise of Prophet T.B. Joshua. The lawmakers eulogized Prophet T.B. Joshua, saying He epitomized the true Nigerian spirit.
For many years, late Prophet Temitope Joshua sponsored feeding programs for widows, orphans, physically challenged, and less privileged people without discrimination. His commitment to peace and stability of this country was quite mind-boggling, as he committed huge resources to life-changing rehabilitation programs for former Niger Delta militants. He was a major promoter of sports development in Nigeria, established the Emmanuel Soccer Academy and My People Football Club for the purpose of helping young talented footballers, and some of the young footballers have made Nigeria proud in international competitions.
You have come under our Standing Order 43. This is a formal reporting of the death of Mr. TB Joshua, and they have asked for a minute silence. But before then, let me condole the family of TB Joshua, Mr. TB Joshua, and also say that our country and the Nigerian leaders across all levels need prayers and prayers and prayers. We need the intervention of God while we continue to do our work, perform our functions and duties. Let's observe a minute silence. May the soul of Mr. let TB Joshua rest in perfect peace. Amen.
BAUCHI State Governor BALA Mohammed has dissolved the State Executive Council with immediate effect on Wednesday. Mohammed, in a statement by his media aide, Makta Gidadu, said that the governor has approved with immediate effect the dissolution of members of the State Executive Council and other political appointees that include the Secretary to the State Government, the Chief of Staff, Government House, and all special assignments. He said advisors on security, national and state assembly liaison, social investment, and special advisor media and publicity are retained. All commissioners are to hand over the affairs of their ministries to their respective permanent secretaries, while the secretary to the state government, the chief of staff, a government house, and other affected special advisors are to hand over to the most senior permanent secretary in the house, who is equally directed to take inventory of government property. Mokhtar said that Bala Mohammed thanked the affected political appointees for their meritorious service. We'll take a break now and return with more stories. Stay with us.
Swift Dry Cleaners Limited, professional dry cleaners, best in dry cleaning and laundry services, and meets the needs of our consumers. Yeah, Swift Dry Cleaners Limited. Swift Dry Cleaners Limited. Swift Dry Cleaners Limited. Yeah. Swift Dry Cleaners Limited. Yeah, for clean wash and quick delivery. Yeah, Swift Dry Cleaners Limited. Swift Dry Cleaners Limited. Swift Dry Cleaners Limited. Swift Dry Cleaners Limited. For clean wash and quick delivery. Ooh.
Swift Dry Cleaners. Clean wash, quick delivery.
You're still watching News Now here on iBrandTV Lagos. African News Now. France has suspended aid and military cooperation in Central African Republic because of what it says is the government's failure to stop massive disinformation campaigns against France that have targeted its officials, the armed forces ministry said. France has cut 10 million euros in budget support for its former colony and stopped direct military cooperation, the ministry told Reuters on Tuesday in an email. A number of commitments made by the Central African authorities vis-à-vis France have not been kept, the ministry said, including halting the online campaigns that it says have sought to undermine French influence. The Democratic Republic of Congo will start a phased return of residents who fled Goma in the aftermath of a volcanic eruption that destroyed thousands of homes and threatened to overrun the city, the government said on Monday. Less than a week after the initial eruption on May the 22nd, which only just stopped short of the city limits, some 400,000 people scrambled to leave when the government warned underground tremors could cause a new eruption or trigger the release of toxic gases. The tremors have since subsided and many people have returned to Goma. About 240,000 remain displaced in nearby towns and villages, according to the latest survey by the International Organization for Migration. Foreign news now. The U.S. Senate voted 68-32 on Tuesday to approve a sweeping package of legislation intended to boost the country's ability to compete with Chinese technology. An indignant China responded to the vote by saying it objected to being cast as an imaginary U.S. enemy. The desire for a hard line in dealings with China is one of the few bipartisan sentiments in the deeply divided U.S. Congress, which is narrowly controlled by President Joe Biden's fellow Democrats. Up next is Sport News with Jidechi.
Welcome to the Sports Update. I am Jidechi Chideje. Now, England's manager Gareth Southgate has spoken of how his grandfather's service in World War II shaped his own identity and values, expressing his pride in representing his country on the eve of the Euro 2020. Southgate said for him personally, his sense of identity as an Englishman and values is closely tied to his family and particularly his granddad who served during the World War II. Now, Southgate's side launched their campaign against Croatia at Wembley on Sunday, with the manager aiming to build on their run to the World Cup semi-finals in 2018. All three of England's group matches are at home, and Wembley is hosting some of the knockout matches at the delayed tournament, including both semi-final and the final. And Brazil's national footballers said Tuesday they are against hosting the troubled Copa America, but will not boycott the tournament. The region's championship is being organized on Brazilian soil in a last-minute pandemic-defying rush against organizers who withdrew aid from Argentina over a COVID-19 surge. In a statement, they said, "We are against organizing the Copa America, but we will never say no to the Brazilian national team," they said in a joint statement on social media. Now, Brazil's players were reportedly unhappy over their country's late decision to host the tournament, and Brazil itself is reeling from the pandemic with a death toll of more than 475,000 people, second only to the United States. And that's all for now on the Sports Update. Michael, back to you.
Thanks very much, Jidechi, for that news story. And now, business news. Naira depreciates at official window as dollar supply drops significantly by 58.5%. The exchange rate between the Naira and the US dollar closed at 411.50 Naira per dollar at the official investors and exporters window. Nigeria depreciated against the US dollar on Tuesday to close at 411.50 Naira to a dollar, representing a 0.1% loss, compared to 411.07 Naira per dollar recorded on May the 7th, June 2021. However, the Naira remained stable against the US dollar on Tuesday at the parallel market to close at 502 Naira to a dollar. This was the same rate that was recorded on Monday, 7th of June 2021. The dollar supply dropped significantly by 58.5% as panic buying and speculation persists in the forex market. And that's it on News Now here on iBrandTV. Thanks very much for watching. I am Michael Nance.